When I started my career at Wellstar Paulding Hospital in the early 90s, part of my responsibility was physician recruitment. And I'll never forget the day that Dr. Tharp was coming to visit. I told him, I said, "You will never regret coming to Paulding County. The people here are absolutely wonderful." He immediately became the family doctor.
It's been truly a family affair. Because I have MS, I was looking for someone that not only could take care of my current needs, but would be able to understand what I was going through.
He takes the time to sit down and talk to you and teach you so that you become an informed healthcare consumer. And by doing that, you're on a team with him.
He calls on you, he checks on you, he'll send me a text, he'll email you.
It is much more complicated now than when we started, but we have made a lot of advances, and that will ultimately benefit the patient. Wellstar Medical Group has developed into multi-specialties, and the continuity that we have for our patients is so wonderful with Wellstar. Treating blood pressure every day or treating diabetes every day is just as dramatic as the trauma center saving someone on I-75.
I met Dr. Schroff when I started working here at the hospital, and that was the reason why I picked him out as my primary care physician, because I have seen him, the way he dealt with patients at the hospital.
You talk to them, spend some time listening, getting more information about their life and their family life and their work situation and their emotional health also. Then you have a better grasp of it.
As an internist, our main function is to diagnose the problem, then things become very easy.
A lot of it depends on the doctors and how they care for their patients and if they give a darn, for their patients. I love Dr. Desai. I feel safe and confident in him. You feel it right here in your heart that he does care about you. He's a wonderful guy. He's younger than my oldest son. If he was about 40 years younger, I'd probably marry him.
It's instant gratification to bring a baby into the world, to hear the first cry, to see the absolute happiness and that circle of life with mom and baby.
I never planned to wait that long to have a baby, and when I got to 35, really 37 if I'm telling the truth, I was apprehensive. And being with her just really, she was exactly what I needed.
You come in and you're a little anxious, but when you leave, you feel better. You feel like you feel like somebody heard you. She makes me feel like I matter.
When we go into medicine, I think we go in there because we want to help people, we want to make people feel better. It's kind of selfish. When I have to give bad news, I had to rewire my personality. Doctors grieve a lot, and I gave myself permission a couple of years ago to do so. I want to give my patients hope. As long as someone has hope, I think that they have the drive to keep going and can live and can overcome whatever news they have been given.
Quite a very special thing to have is to being part of people's lives, and they share their family and their concerns and their fears with you.
We went through the pregnancy with my daughter, Elizabeth, and we discovered that she was breech, and so we ended up having a C-section with Elizabeth. A few months later, after she was born, we found out that we were pregnant with my son, Trey, and he was a placenta previa baby. And that birth was a little bit more difficult because I had a lot of bleeding after he actually was born. It was very scary to go through, especially ending up in the emergency room in the middle of the night bleeding. He was very calming at that time. He made me feel very safe.
Sometimes the scary moments associated with the complications finally are all washed away with that excitement of the family and that newborn that's theirs.
My daughter, Mary Catherine, was conceived about 7 years after that. He said, "Do you see all these gray hairs on my head? They're because of you." So.
Every day that I'm with the children is fuel to my day and my energy. It's really quite a privilege. We know that having a consistent, loving, nurturing environment with basics intact by way of health and the essential needs of life are what children need. They need a village.
From the first time I met her, her bedside manner, I wanted her to, care for my son.
Dr. Beckford texted me today to see how I was doing. And that's just the kind of person I want my children to be around. She's like a second mom, I guess.
Parker had a very special condition. And so what was typical or what may be, quote, best parenting practices weren't necessarily going to work for Parker. She's given not just medical advice, but parenting advice. And that sort of peace of mind makes you feel almost like it is, the good old days, if you will, that you have that doctor that comes to your house almost, because we have a relationship with her.
In primary care, we care about the whole person, and we know how to work with and partner with our specialty colleagues to bring to the patient everything that they need. And that's what's so lovely.
She was born on a Sunday, May 7th, 2006. She was 24 weeks gestation, which is, 16 weeks early. Teresa was born, she was 354 grams, which is about 12.5 ounces.
Teresa was that small, I can't even hold her on the palm of my hand like this. Because she didn't have anything for me to hold with my two hands.
Most parents are panicked when they have a sick baby, and it's pretty devastating. There's a lot of fear, and it takes a lot of reassurance and being calm and instilling some kind of confidence that they're going to be able to make it through this. It takes a big commitment from the hospital to provide a NICU. It's a lot of expertise.
We've seen great strides in terms of the technology, which allows us to ventilate and keep these babies alive at this size.
The giraffe bed has everything. You can weigh a baby on it, you can check the oxygen levels on it, maintain temperature. You can open it up to see the baby closer in a little isolette without disturbing him. You can increase the humidity so he doesn't lose too much fluid. It's just excellent technology.
She is going to be 9 years old, May 7th. She's doing great. She's our miracle baby. Our miracle baby.
And don't forget, everything is possible, but that Dr. Metcalf and all those nurses, man, I can't even find a word.
Every life is important, and what you do to the least person is most important. You have to take care of the little ones because that is the future.
I thank God for me being born and being loved by my mother and father.